Let's do a story time video. I don't do many of these videos where I sit and talk a lot, and mainly it's because my life is always unfolding and I'm always progressing, moving, changing. And so, therefore, I don't share a lot of my life because it's always progressing. But I want to share kind of a story time video and talk about when God sends you. And this video may be for somebody who's thinking about doing something new this year, or maybe you're just in a place where you're just tired of the life you've had and you want something new. So here's my story. Back in 2020, something had happened to me that made me kind of rethink my whole life, rethink who I was, rethink getting to know who I am as a person, and rethinking how I do life. And I was really in a place in my life where I was just sick of living life without intentionality. I was sick of living in darkness and dealing with people who are okay living in darkness. I really wanted to fully live my life for God and fully give myself to God because I was just in a place in my life where I realized that the lies of this world, the things that we're told, that things are not always as they seem. Just because something looks like it glitters doesn't mean it's gold. And I was just in that point in my life to where I have lived enough life. I was about 30, so I had lived enough life to know like the things that truly mattered in life. And so in 2020, something happened that made me alter my life and made me want to start living wholeheartedly for God. And in the course of that, I start changing. I started spending time with God, and I didn't know how to do that at first. But I started watching sermons. I started listening to as much Christian music as I can, putting myself in a positive atmosphere. The more that I listen to different sermons, the more that I listen to music, the more that I started reading my Bible, the more I started to change, the more I started to start hearing God on a daily basis, the more that God was giving me winks. And like people talk about winks or signs from God, but that was like I would wake up and go to work and I work from home, but I would wake up and I would go to work, and every day it was like God would tell me one thing, and then later that day I would see it again and again, and it was like God was trying to talk to me, even though I didn't know how to hear the voice of God. He was trying to talk to me and tell me stuff, and He would bring reminders throughout the day that would confirm what He had said. And so I was growing closer to God, and this was between 2020 2022, and coming up to 2022, um I had met two prophets that had one had told me what I was supposed to do, and the other one had helped me to learn the voice of God. Now, to me, it was not a surprise that I met two prophets that could prophetically speak to my life, because actually in my life, every time God was ready to do something or move in my life, He always sent a prophet. And this may not happen to everybody, but this is just my personal life and how God ushers me into a new thing in my life, because this is like the fourth prophet that I have known, and God has sent my way. So in 2022, I met two prophets, one that helped me learn the voice of God, the other one that told me what I should be doing. And what he said was just a confirmation of stuff that I didn't do, that I was supposed to do 10 years ago in my life. And so after I met these prophets, I learned to hear the voice of God. And when I learned to hear the voice of God, I was able to discern for myself on a daily basis what I should be doing and how I should be doing it. And I'm telling this story in the background because it actually is important to who I am today. Me being on camera, me giving these videos, and me encouraging you guys is not by chance, or it's not just, everybody thinks that everybody's on social media looking for their own personal glory. to be honest with you, if I wanted my own personal glory or if I led my platform by my flesh, I would be on here being just as silly as everybody else. But because I don't do that, because I do this for God, I actually could come and tell jokes. I actually can come and cut up. I just don't, because I'm taking what I do on this platform seriously. And so, although I am a very silly person when you get to know me, and although I can cut up with the best of them, I do not, because I had to ask myself, are you speaking with people from your flesh or are you speaking with people from your spirit? And my fleshly man is very different from my spirit man. And so I'm telling you these things because if God has asked you to do something different this year, I want you to lean into it. I want you to do it. I want you to be bold. I want you to be courageous. I want you to listen to what God is telling you. Because what I have found, and I've been here doing videos and I've been writing my blog for 2 years now. And these are things that God has called me to do, but these are things that I cannot do without the presence of God. And as I learned from my mentor and a prophet, as I learned to hear from the voice of God, I know I can accurately hear the voice of God for myself. And I will literally sit down at night and I will read and I'll pray and I'll write down what God is telling me. And then later on, when I speak to my mentor or when I get messages from my mentor, he's saying the very same thing that God tells me. So I know I can accurately hear God for myself. And so I want you to know that me meeting a prophet and me learning how to hear the voice of God and me learning how to stay in relationship with God on a daily basis and having God bring people my way when I was in a complete isolation season for 3 to 4 years, it was rough. But God called me to have this platform. God called me to be online and to speak his word and to minister to people. And I want you to know that if you're in a place where God has told you to do something, you're worried about it, or you're worried if you're called, and if he said you're called and confirm that you're called, or if you're worried that the task that God gave you seems impossible or seems too big, I want you to know that you can do it. And I want you to know that if God told you to do it, then he's going to bring help. He's going to bring people around you. He's going to bring people that can help lift you up in those times where you don't think you can do it. And I'm telling you because God has done this for me. God, for the last 2 to 4 years, has been walking with me in a partnership where he constantly sends people my way to help me. He constantly sends people and inspiration and words of wisdom to help me to be able to come on here and talk to you guys. I mean, even right now, my task is to speak to you guys and to write and to make stuff that ministers to people. But then God comes and he gives me bigger dreams than what I'm doing now. And he will bring at in the time when it's time for it, he's going to bring the support for those bigger dreams that he's showing me and those desires that he's putting in my heart. So I want you to know that if he can do that for me, he can do that for you. So if you are in a situation this year where God has told you to try something new, or God has sent you on a different path, do not be afraid, because they say if it's God's will, then it's his bill. And you need to know that God can help support you and lead you no matter where he has sent you to. In the Bible, in the Bible, in the book of Isaiah, God was saying, who should we send and who will go for us? And Isaiah replied to God, send me, I will go. If God has asked you to go this year, go, because it will enrich your life. It will change you. And more than likely, if God has called you to something, there's a whole group of people who need your gift, who need what you do in order to be changed, in order to be impacted. So I hope this video helps somebody. I want you to know that if God has sent you, he's going to help you get there. And he's going to help bring people to support and to love you and to put you in the place where you should be. I hope you guys have a great day.